guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be going over my first paycheck of 2024 as well as what I'll be using for my budget for 2024 as well. So pretty much I will be using a Stylogy, which is the Stylogy Editors Series half-year notebook, and this includes 192 pages, which is definitely more than enough for what I need. And it's $13. It's a little, I would say, a little pricey, but I wanted something similar to the Hobonichi paper, which is Tamo. It's not really a big deal, but I just wanted something slim as well. And I also actually received this as a Secret Santa gift from my coworker. So this is one of the items in my wish list. So originally I did mention that when I did my 2024 planner lineup, I was going to use this notebook, or like this little booklet that I made from Tamil River paper that I had. So honestly, it's just, I wanted to include more things, so it wasn't enough pages ultimately. So I just recreated it into this notebook since I had it on hand already since my Christmas gift. So starting off, I guess I'll go with my financial goals. So pretty much it's the same thing as last year, which is $10,000 in savings, $10,000 in home savings, and then no spend on unnecessary items. And then my long-term financial goals, which is mostly just trips that I want to go on. So since I already went to Hong Kong already, this is very long-term, so I'm thinking like 3 years maybe I will go back to Hong Kong. So I'm saving up for $3,000 there. And then like the flights that I took last time, or like the trip that I just came back from, was about $1,600, yeah, more like $1,700. So I'm just saving for that, and then any excess items. And then I also want to go back to London/Paris as well as Japan. So these aren't exact numbers, but these are long-term goals, so I don't really have like a deadline to say the least. Anyway, so those are my goals. So I did go like a little overboard on spending, and it also had a reason because I honestly last year I barely like wrote down anything that I spent, or like I did not do a budget, and that's what screwed me. So honestly it is okay, but 2024 will do much better. I will do much better actually. So the next page, I didn't like how it was kind of like showing through, so I just started with a clean page, and I had more than enough paper to do that. So in this notebook, so the next page is my 2024 full-time payday. Honestly, should have said paycheck, but this is after tax, so I might include the gross amount, right? Is it the gross amount? I get confused with the terms, but after tax, I usually write it down, what goes into my bank account. So I do have a 401k with my job, so I put 6% down into there, so I don't really see that amount. It's taken before I get my paycheck, if that makes sense. I forget the terms, so I apologize. Anyway, so after that, I wrote down the random savings. Honestly, you're supposed to do this, or like this, no, this is your weekly savings. So, pretty much, usually you just pick a number, from, I would say 1 to 52, or you could do whatever increments you want. So I just picked a number from 20 to 150. So last year I also did this, and I did it for $1 to $75, I believe. And then I just upped it because I knew how much money I spent last year, and I don't want to spend that. So I'm just going to put it in my random savings. So, and eventually, if I complete this, I will have enough money for either my Hong Kong trip, or my London, Paris trip, or my Japan trip. So I will just make sure I won't spend that. So pretty much I already like picked the numbers as well. So I will only, so I usually just oh my goodness, not input, deposit it into my high yield savings account. So I'm just going to do it at the end of the month. So I will just have it in my bank account until then. So that will be just taken out straight from my bank account. I already scheduled for all, like, most of these, so I won't see it, essentially. Anyway, that is that. And then this page, I don't know why I just left blank. I do, because I thought I would need 2 pages for this, but I feel like I have more than enough lines, so I just ended up with 1 page of it. So it looks kind of funky that these 2 pages are blank, but whatever. So pretty much I just wrote till half of the year, and now that I'm thinking about it, I might not have enough space, but it really depends on that, because usually I would have, so for example, I would get 2 paychecks, and then I will also have my high yield interest, and then my shop payday, which is on the 1st. So I would at least need 4 per month. So I feel like, honestly, I feel like I would have enough, but now that I'm thinking about this, this is only 5 months. So I would need another 4, and silly me, but it is okay. I can just literally take it put it on this page and just leave it as that. But it's gonna look weird because it's going from this page to the back side. Anyway, that is regardless. So my starting is $89,591.29 in my high yield savings account. I did have to, honestly, I was hoping I would reach $100,000 in my high yield savings account in 2023, but because of my spending, I did not reach that goal. So I just used my savings to pay off whatever credit card I have and start a clean slate pretty much on my credit cards and be intentional with my spending. So now moving on to the savings trackers, I pretty much wrote down all the months, and since I actually will be filling this out with you guys after I do my budget breakdown, or like the paycheck breakdown. So pretty much I'm keeping it as usual. So, but instead, if you noticed last year, I don't know if I showed you, but I have a tracker for I like to be visual with my trackers. So I pretty much drew out 6 quadrants, which includes I believe $2,500 each quadrant. So the goal that looks like this would be 1,500, or not 1,500, 15,000. But with how much I'm putting into my homes, or like the savings for home and regular savings, it's 1,000 every paycheck. So regardless, I would be 26,000 if it was just regular. So from my paycheck into my savings tracker, it would be 26,000 in total. So if I have more money, or like any excess that I want to add into this, then I would. But I just put down that it will be 15,000, even though it will only be technically 13,000 if I keep to that regular amount of $500 for each home, and then regular savings. So I already added $200 for my shop payday, so that pretty much went into my account already. So, and I also marked down which highlighter I'll be using for each month to just indicate. So that is my home savings, and then my savings tracker. So also I should mention that each square here, if you notice, is $25, and that is what I did last year as well. So then this page, these 2 pages are blank because I wanted the monthly overview, or like the monthly recap, to be on the same spread, if that makes sense. And then so I just pretty much marked out January, and then my savings, my home savings, emergency fund, other. So this is all high yields. are all in my high yield savings account, and then my weekly savings. So last year I saved 2,000. Oh my goodness, I wrote it down. 2,000. Oh gosh. Well, shucks. I thought I did write it down. Actually, I did. In here, $2,269. So, and then this is pretty much what I already know that I will be adding into my account. I just don't know the exact amount for my savings, but now I do. So, and then CPA, I just decided to just put the 1,500, so I make sure that I won't be spending this if I like in the categories that are in my bank account. So, and then after that, so there's a empty line right here, so that will be the total of my high yield savings account, and then my bank, and then that will be my technically my net worth, right? Yes, in terms of monetary net worth. So after that, which I already spoiled, so I'm going into the back. So here I just wrote down my 2024 side hustle, which is technically my Shopify and Etsy. So I didn't technically get paid for January, which was technically December's. Whatever I made in December, I would get paid in January. But since I didn't have my shop open in December, I did not make anything. So I will just continue on with that. It doesn't really affect me as much. It's more of a hobby that I really love doing. So after that, I just gave 2 pages. Honestly, I didn't really need to give 2 pages, but just in case I want to overspend, for example, but hopefully not. But also sometimes I would write big because these squares aren't really that big either, so maybe I'll take 2 lines for each item, but we shall see. So each 2 pages are my credit card. So I have Wells Fargo. Whoops, that was not meant to be. Why did I skip 3 pages? I have no idea. Oops. My American Express credit card. Then I have my, why did I skip 3 pages? I honestly don't understand. Anyway, Discover, and then, oh geez, I really did it. So Costco, and then after that would be my Citi card, which is my other Citi card. And then you have my Capital One cards, which is Quicksilver, and then Saver One. So I already did a spending, or technically my brother spent it. This is under his name, but he's just using my credit card. So, and also if you don't know, I am managing my brother's finances, but you know, it goes both ways. So anyway, and also I was just doing some calculations here, so ignore that. So after that, I wrote down all of my, pretty much here, I should start here. These are pretty much the categories in my bank account, which I can just show you quickly. So if it will focus, okay, so it has maintenance, clothing, gifts and Christmas, hair and beauty, Copa, which is my dog, and then Kion, which is my brother's dog, me money, entertainment, food, medical, my brother, and then family, and then Costco. So, and then in my high yield savings account, I have savings, home, emergency fund, other, weekly savings, and CPA. So this is pretty much an overview of the entire year, which I created. So honestly, you can just recreate this, but and you just need whatever, how many pages you need, but just make sure that you do trim this off if you want to recreate it. So this is similar to like a academic, like I remember my teachers having this when I was little, where they had like a book with all our grades in it, and there was like one section that you could just tear off, and then you can just flip this as opposed to rewriting the name multiple times. So that is what I recreated. So pretty much you have, or I have, each paycheck of the entire year in here. So this is only my main paycheck, which is my job, my full-time job, which is an auditor. So that is pretty much what I did. And then I pretty much divided how much, so each paycheck, I don't put the full amount in each paycheck. So pretty much for my maintenance, I just put down, I split it in half. And then whenever I get a 3-month paycheck, or 3 paycheck month, I would split it into 3, which I just like evenly split it, so I'm not with like multiple cents in one, so I'm only having the cents like at the end of the month as opposed to the beginning. Anyway, it will make sense in my head, so hopefully it makes sense to you. Then in savings and home, I might put I will be putting 500, and if I do put more, I'll just white it out and just rewrite it. And I'm fine with whiting out things because budgets are very flexible in my eyes. So then after that, I also mark down my weekly savings for each month. So I'm usually putting it in the last paycheck. So whenever I get paid the last week, or like the last paycheck of the month, I will put I would deposit the weekly savings. So after that, I also marked it down as like individual pages. So hopefully there's not that many transactions in here. So I deposited $463, which is from my first paycheck, into this, I would say, sinking fund. So most of my items that I have, which is all here in my bank, is sinking funds. So I can just freely spend it, but be intentional with it. So that is why I also like took away some of the items because I haven't really used it as much and I haven't touched it. So I just like deposit it into my savings account and just called it a day. Honestly, I could just but add another area. But since I already created this for the month of January, I am going to hold off until February, where I'll just split off the savings into that. So maintenance starts off with $0, but I added 463. So this is going to be the date. Honestly, I should just draw lines so I'm not confused, but I just did this like yesterday, but I wasn't like sure what exactly I wanted to show. But this will be just a running balance of what is in my bank account, and I'm not going to be using cash. So I originally, when I first started budgeting, it was cash based, but then I just got comfortable using it in my account. But then 2023 happened, and then I went over spending crazy. So now but regardless, I can still manage with having it in my bank account if I just follow the plan of writing it down, all the transactions that happened, into this book, and that way I won't be confused. And yes, maybe I might need to take this somewhere, but honestly, I'll just be like, do I really need this item? And if I don't, then I'll just put it down. So anyway, so after that, I have each of the categories that I listed off in this chart. So I have clothing, beauty, Copa, Kion, me money, entertainment, food, medical, my brother, which is Jonathan. So I'm just going to, for my brother, because he goes spending crazy with his debit card, I am just going to, whatever amount he has in his bank account, I'm just going to take some out and put it in here. And if he owes me anything, I'll just take it from here, because it's getting ridiculous at this point, and there's no way for controlling him. He just needs to look at his account, like be responsible for his account, and it just seems like he's not. So I'm just going to do that because clearly he sees that like the amount is there and he just can spend it, but in reality this money goes to places and it's not just for free money to spend, if that makes sense. Anyway, so then family, which is like if I take my parents out for dinner or lunch or anything like that. So yeah, and then Costco, self-explanatory. And then you go into my savings. So I originally had more than 40,000 in my savings account, or like the savings portion of my high yield savings, but I just obviously overspent. So, and I apologize if you hear my cat meowing like a maniac, but anyway, I don't know what he's meowing about, but he does that every night to get someone's attention. Not my attention, my other cat's attention. So anyway, I have my home savings, so I didn't really touch this, so whatever is here is whatever is here. And then other, which is most likely I won't be adding to, so that's why I only gave it half a page. And then as well as emergency fund, which I already reached $10,000 as one of the goals that I made, I believe, in 2022. So I'm not really going to add to it, but if I can, I will. And then weekly savings, obviously I will be doing the weekly savings, which is from this page. So that pretty much, I will most likely have 12 transactions, and that is pretty much that. And then CPA, obviously, most likely will have 4 transactions. So I could have honestly split it into half pages for this, but I wasn't thinking that far ahead when I wrote this down, and then wrote this down, and I said, oh shoot, I should have just gave it 1 page for the 2 categories. But regardless, that is the main portion of the book itself. And then, so now I have, I believe, if I flip to all the pages, I have this many pages left, so I can do my paycheck breakdown. So, and also I should mention that I did leave some, or like a few extra pages, like 2 pages, 3 pages of if I want to add any categories to this area, or like the list. So just in case, if I do, then I have the space here and then also the space here. And if anything, I'll just include it in front of it. But hopefully I don't add any more categories. Maybe my my long-term savings goals, but we shall see. Maybe I'll just add $10 every time for each of them. So I'll have that. Anyway, so let's get into the budget, which, where is my pen? Oh geez. I just had it, didn't I? Oh, there it is. Oh gosh. So I already wrote down my categories, which was from this chart of maintenance, clothing, gifts, and all that stuff. So I will zoom right in. So for my first paycheck of 2024, I did get $2,367.89. So I did put $1,000 into my high yield savings account. So I am left with $1,367.89 in my bank. So into my maintenance bill, or my maintenance category, I put down $463, which is here. And then in clothing, so these are actually, I should also mention that when I wrote the categories down, I already started like with the balance as of my first paycheck. So the next time that I do this, I will just be adding to it. So I will just put, instead of here is just a running total, I would put plus whatever, so it will make sense in my head. So this is just a running balance of what I have in my bank account. Okay, so as of January 10th. Okay, just to let you guys know, because I did some, like, I changed some categories, I took some categories out, so I just reevaluated where the money should go, and just decided to put whatever amount was there, and that would be considered my starting point. And also, so continuing on, for clothing, I will have $300 in that category. And then Christmas, or gifts and Christmas, I also have $300. In hair and beauty, I don't really spend that much, so I'm just going to put $120. And I should also mention that maybe next paycheck that I budget out, I will write down exactly how much I add to it. But hair and beauty, I usually just add $10 every time for each paycheck. But this time, since I didn't add in December, I just added $20 for this one. So, and then Copa, I usually add $40, but since I haven't really been spending for him, I just left it as is, just to cover some of the other expenses. And then for Kion, my other dog, which is my brother's dog, my My brother didn't give me money, but I just left it at $600, whatever I had left over, or I just wanted them even or equal. So yeah, and then me money usually is whatever I have left after I budgeted everything else. So it could technically be at the bottom of the list, but I don't know how I just like, in my brain, I just like it with whatever my dogs are. So anyway, so after that, it would be $473.21. So I did mention that in maintenance, it will, like the next paycheck, I would add in $462.19. So only these two categories, maintenance and me money, will have like cents in it, but everything else will have exact amounts. Hope that makes sense. And then entertainment will be $200, or actually I lied. So my brother will also have cents in it because, you know, it's not technically my account, but it is under my, or like, it's not my money. It's in my account, but it's not my money. So pretty much it's just like a savings for him because he clearly doesn't know how to save. So I'm just like tired of it, like going back and forth with him. So I'm just gonna take it out, and he can just question it, like why. So, or he doesn't have to question it, but anyway. So after that, for Jonathan, it will be, or I totally forgot. So food is also $200, medical is $200. So I do have an insurance that I have to pay deductible for it, and it if I pay that certain amount, everything else will be covered by my insurance. So I don't really go to the doctors as much. The only times that I really go is like, or I should mention that the, what do you call it, like my annual exam. So that is pretty much the only time that I will ever go to the doctors. And then dentist, I go twice a year, but I do have dental insurance now, so hopefully it technically gets taken out of my paycheck. So that is that. So I don't really have to worry about that. So before last year, or for 2023, I did have to pay out of pocket for my teeth cleaning, which was like $70 the first time, and then they increased the price to $80. So I spent $150, and I did the math with my dental insurance. I would honestly be paying almost the same amount, but it includes, my dental insurance includes x-rays, as opposed to me paying out of pocket for those. So hopefully that makes sense. So after that, oh no, see, I already messed up. So Jonathan technically has $209.99. And then family has $200. And then Costco has $300. So if we add them all up, which, if I take my brother's calculator, because my calculator apparently is broken, and also this is, if you don't know, this is a scientific calculator, or I forgot which one was it. I think it's scientific. Anyway, this is one when I went to, or my brother went to high school with. So, starting off with $463, which, plus 300, plus 300, plus 120, plus 600, plus another 600, plus 473.21 plus 200, plus another 200, plus another 200, plus 209.99, plus 200, plus 300. It will give me $4,166.20. And 20 cents, which is correct when I did it off camera. So after that, so that is technically what is in my bank account as of right now. And then in my savings, it will be 3,000. So, oh, and I should also mention, I like to add it here. So, just going to add it here for my high yield savings account. So, for January 10th, which is usually, I believe, the statement day closes, or the statement day is issued, or the statement is issued, so I get the interest on whatever is in my high yield savings account. My goodness, that was hard to explain. So I did get $332.79, and then after that, and since I also got paid on the same day, as opposed to so instead of writing it into the same line, I'm just going to write it on a separate line. So I do add $500 to each of savings and home. So now to do the running balance. So I should have $89,591.29 plus $332.79, which gives me $89,924.08. And then when you add plus 1,000, which is 500 plus 500, gives me $90,924.08. So that is what's currently, well, why isn't that right? Something is off. Oh, my goodness. Because this should be 700. Plus 200. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Already messed up. So this should be... So this is 7. So, actually... Oops. Just going to write it out this way. So this should be 90,124, and then this will be $91,124. So because to $89,591 plus 200 would give me $791, or $89,791. Sorry, I got confused there. So now I'm going to color in how much I added to my home savings, which is 20 boxes. So that is for that. And then for my my regular savings, so I already added 200. So I usually just round to the nearest $25. So if anything else, will get colored in for the next month. So $232. So it will be, or $332. So I'll just do 325 plus 500 divided by 25. So I should color in 33 boxes. So, but I already colored in 8, so I'm going to just add 8, so I should have 41 in total. So this is 20, 30, 41. So, and I'm sorry if you hear that creaking sound, that's just my cat. So that is that, and then usually I would just like use a gray pen to just block off like each section of the numbers, so it's not just one clump of color. So that is pretty much that. Then I don't really need to update this until my last paycheck. So going back to the paycheck breakdown, so going back to savings, so since I added this amount, and then I will be adding, starting off with this. So actually, I won't be doing this on camera, like these pages, because that would just confuse me even further. So I'm just going to do those off camera and then just continue doing these breakdowns. So in total, or after I added the $500 plus the $332.79, I should be left with $38,855.08. And then in my home savings, it should be $37,500. And then in my emergency fund, which remains the same, $10,000. Then other is $1,000. And then weekly savings. So I haven't added for the month of January, so it starts off with $2,269. And oh my goodness, my dog is snoring. Then for CPA will be $1,500. So adding that all together, 38,855 plus 08, or 37,500, 10,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,269 plus 1,500 should give me the same amount, which is currently in my bank, or in my high yield savings account. So I'm thinking that in 4 months I should be reaching $1,000, hopefully. Or not 1,000, 100,000. So that would be exciting. So I like to add in total for this paycheck plus 4,166.20 should give me $95,290.28 in my name. Yay. So that is pretty much my budget breakdown. So next time I will see how I'll show how I break down how much money I will be putting towards each of these categories. So I hope you guys enjoyed this budget with me. I think this will be my first ever serious breakdown of my budget, as opposed to, I don't know what I did before. Anyway, I don't remember. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. So in terms of for budgets, I should say. So I will have my budget every other week, and then Plan with Me's every other week, if anything. So hopefully that is a nice schedule for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.